My name is Selena Carter. I'm 30 years old. Last Tuesday, I sat alone in my office and listened to 43 voicemails from my family. People I hadn't heard from in 7 years. Not one of them said, "I'm sorry." Every single one said the same two words. And before I tell you what those words were, I want you to ask yourself something. If your family called you today after years of silence, what would they say? Would it be "I'm sorry"? Or would it be "I need something"? Think about that, because by the end of this story, your answer might change. 7 years ago, I walked out of my mother's house with $200, one suitcase, and no plan, no backup, no safety net. Just one decision, that I would rather be alone than invisible. It all started on Thanksgiving 2019. Small town, the kind where everybody knows your name, but nobody really knows you. 15 people squeezed around one long table, my mother at the head, my father pouring wine, like silence was something he could dilute. And me? I was there, but not really there. My sister was the star, she always had been. New job, new title, same praise. My mother raised her glass and said, "To my daughter, the one who makes us proud." Everyone clapped. No one asked me a single question. Not about my 2 jobs. Not about my savings. Not about the fact that I hadn't bought myself anything new in months, because I was trying to build a future quietly, piece by piece. I wasn't ignored. I was erased. But I had come to that dinner for one reason. A simple question. After dessert, when the noise softened just enough, I asked it. Is there anything left in Grandma's education fund? And just like that, everything stopped. You ever feel a room turn against you before anyone even speaks? That's what that felt like. My mother smiled. That same calm, controlled smile she used when she was about to rewrite reality. And then she said it. She's been acting unstable lately. Not an answer, an accusation. In front of 15 people. No one defended me, not one. I went to the kitchen, turned on the faucet, started washing dishes like I always did. Because when you grow up like that, you learn to clean up messes you didn't make. And that's when I heard the truth. She doesn't need that money. She's not going anywhere anyway. $12,000 left for me. Gone. In that moment, something inside me didn't break. It finished breaking. I walked back into the room and said the only thing I had left. That money was mine. And 10 minutes later, my mother stood in the living room and told everyone I was having episodes. That I wasn't well. That she had been protecting them from me. And the worst part? People believed her. Not because it was true, but because it was easier than questioning her. So I went upstairs, packed a suitcase, took the only $200 I had, and I left. No drama, no yelling. Just one quiet decision. If I stayed, I would disappear. If I left, at least I had a chance to exist. So let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever had to choose between staying somewhere comfortable and leaving to save yourself? Because that choice changes you forever. I took a bus across the country. 38 hours, no sleep. Just silence and thoughts I didn't want to think. I ended up in a city where no one knew my name. And for the first time in my life, that felt like freedom. The first night I slept in a shelter. Second week, a cheap hostel. No connections. No one to call if something went wrong. And here's the part nobody tells you about starting over. It's not inspiring. It's exhausting. It's waking up every day wondering if you made the biggest mistake of your life, and choosing to keep going anyway. I got a job answering phones. Nothing special, but it was mine. And slowly, things changed. Not overnight, not magically, just small wins. A better position, a little more trust, a little more confidence. Until one day, I realized something strange. That voice in my head, the one that used to tell me I wasn't enough, was gone. Not quieter, gone, like someone had finally turned it off. Years passed. I built a career, built a life, built something that no one could take credit for. And for 7 years, my family said nothing. Not a call, not a message, nothing. Until one day, my sister Googled my name. Not because she missed me, because she needed something. And that's when the calls started. 43 voicemails, different voices, same message. Call me back. We need to talk. I need your help. Not one apology, just need. So let me ask you again. If someone disappears from your life for years, and comes back only when they need something. Is that family or is that opportunity? Because I knew exactly what it was, and I didn't call back. Instead, I went back to the town I left. Same person who walked out. I walked into that room as the keynote speaker of their biggest event. 200 people. Same town. Same faces. And at the center of it, my family. They didn't know I was coming until my name was announced, and I walked on stage. You ever watch someone realize they've been wrong for years, all at once? That was my mother. I didn't yell. I didn't expose her directly. I did something much worse. I told the truth. Calmly. Clearly. Without anger. Because truth doesn't need volume. It needs clarity. And when I finished speaking, the same people who believed her story stood up for mine. That night changed everything. Not because I won, but because I stopped needing to. Outside, I got one last question from them. Are you going to help us? And for the first time in my life, I didn't hesitate. No. Not angry, not emotional, just clear. Because here's something most people learn too late. You don't owe people access to your life just because they gave you pain. And you definitely don't owe them success they tried to take from you. After that night, I went back to my life. My real life. A small table, good food, people who actually chose me. No performance, no pressure, no pretending. Just peace. And peace is expensive. It costs you people. It costs you history. It costs you the version of life you thought you were supposed to have. You don't trade it for anything. So now I'll ask you one last time. If your family called you today after years of silence, what would they say? Help me, or I'm sorry. Because those two sentences might sound similar, but they come from completely different hearts. And one of them, you never have to answer. If you made it this far, tell me in the comments, what would your answer be? And if this story felt real to you, you already know why.